All right, so here we are on number 3. All right, so they want us to solve by the elimination. By the way, it doesn't matter what method they say. Don't pay any attention to that. Don't worry about that at all. I don't care what method you use. They're not going to know what method you use when you type in the final answer. Anyways, fine, I don't care. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you again, maybe one more time, by hand, but then I also want to show you by calculator. And I would encourage you to learn how to do it on your graphing calculator. You guys have those with you today? And those will be a lot quicker once you get the hang, especially because today we're going to go to the 3x3s and the 4x4s, and you don't want to be doing those by hand for sure. So one more time by hand, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so how do we solve by hand? Remember, you make like the two x's be the same number, but opposite, one positive, one negative, opposites, or the y's, it doesn't matter at all. So I'm going to take that second equation, I'm going to multiply through by negative 9, because that'll make that negative 9x, which is the opposite of the positive 9x. Everybody see that? Right? Remember this from algebra? So you want to make these front numbers be opposite. The top one's already positive 9x. So if I multiply the bottom equation by negative 9, that'll make the x on the bottom negative 9x, the opposite of the other one. And why that's good is because then they'll drop out, and I'll have just y, and I can solve. So here we go. I'm going to rewrite the top equation even though it hasn't changed at all. The bottom equation, I'm going to distribute the negative 9 all the way through. And I need help there. What's 9 times 45? 360 and negative 405, I think. Did I do that right? 9 times 45?
405?
Yeah, good. I got it. Okay, thank you. We good to there? So what did I do? I multiplied the bottom equation through by negative 9. Now, you can add the equations up. And these will cancel, right? 9x minus 9x, 0. And that's why I made those opposites, so they would drop out. Does everybody see that? What happens with the y's now? What number is on that top negative y? It's negative 1, huh? So negative 1, if you lose $1 and then lose $81, right? It's negative and negative. If the football team loses 1 yard and then loses 81 yards, they lost 82 yards. You lost $82 if you lose $1 and then 81 more, right? Other one, choose your calculator. Was that negative 323, 28? Is that what it is? Did I get that right? Anybody get a number there?
Yeah,
Okay, good. Now, what's the last step in solving for y there? Divide by the negative 82. I'm betting on 4. Positive 4. Yeah, positive 4. Two negatives make positive. Positive 4. So we got the y. Now, that's just y. How do we get x? Plug it in. So we got y. Now plug in y for where? Anywhere you want. Anywhere you want. I just grab the top equation. 9x minus y is 77. Put in the 4. 9x minus 4 is 77. Does that make sense? I just grabbed the top equation, plugged in y is 4. How do we solve that for x? Add 4 to both sides. 81, last step. Divide by 9. X is 9. So we got it. X, y, 9, comma 4. That's x, comma y. Remember, they want the order with the answer with as an ordered pair, parentheses, two numbers with a comma. So they want 9, comma 4. See how they say type an ordered pair? 9, comma 4. X comes first, and then y. We got it. Now, that was by hand. Let's do it by calculator if you're ready for that. So any questions on the by hand? And I don't care. You can do it any way you want on the test, by hand or by calculator. But if you do calculator, make sure you do it right, because I won't see any work. I'll just see a final answer. If it's right, it's right. But if it's wrong, I can't even give you an ounce of partial credit if I don't see any work and just the wrong answer. So if you're going to use calculator, don't mess up, right? Do it twice to make sure you really got it. Everybody good with the by hand? Remember all that from your algebra days? Did you love doing those in algebra? Were they like your favorite thing? All right, so I'm assuming most of you will prefer the calculator. So let's redo this question with the graphing calculator. All right, so last time I was going through the steps. Let me just do them on the calculator with you, and then I will write them down as well. Okay, so you ready? First thing you have to do, I'll just kind of flash back and forth, is you've got to hit, so on the calculator, first thing is hit second matrix, which is above, on the TI-84 anyway, or the TIs, it's above the X inverse key. It's on the left side. It's on the left. Hit second matrix, and then you go into the matrix mode, and then what?
Is that y equals, y2 equals, y3 equals? Is that matrix mode?
I have no idea on the 89. I'm sorry.
Okay.
No idea at all. Yeah, is there not just like a matrix button?
Does it say matrix, the word matrix?
Yeah, ours does. The normal TIs, the less sophisticated TIs just say matrix. Yeah. So yeah, so my suggestion is YouTube with the TI-89. Just type in on Google. Just type in YouTube TI-89 matrix, and I'm sure you'll quickly see instructions. All right. So somebody else said, Derek, you have an 89, TI-89 also.
Yeah.
Yeah. So both you, Josh and Derek, you both have 89. Do you know how to do the matrix?
I can figure it out.
Is that
Yeah.
where
Oh, you
it's-
get the computer there.
Is that where it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, and C1, C2, C3?
Maybe.
Matrix? All right. I'll
Not
see
sure.
what you have.
Yeah, Derek, you and Josh work together. Check out what you're getting on that. All right, yeah, so, and then the Casio, and so you're searching already, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. All right. So, all right, so for the rest, everybody else, I think, just has the normal TI, the cheaper TIs. So, anyway, so it'll work, hit second matrix, then you get the menu, right? I'll show you what it looks like on the screen here, which is hopefully what you have in your screen. Let me dial it in. That looks funny. Where's my overhead light? No, not that. That. Yeah. So yeah, you get in that menu. So those are three menus is what those are. If you move the arrow across here, see there's a math, there's a names, math, and edit. There's three different menus basically. Edit is for entering the matrices. Math is for like doing something on them, like we're going to do inverses on them. We're going to do the RREF is what we're going to do today. That's most of what we're going to do on them. And that's doing some math thing on the matrices. And then names is calling them forth, right? So what we'll end up doing is we'll enter the matrix on the edit menu. Here's the big plan. We'll enter the matrix on the edit menu. Then we'll quit out of that and go back into the math menu and choose RREF. But then we'll have to go back, because it's RREF on what? And we'll have to go back and say on matrix A, which we just entered. And we'll hit, under names, we'll hit enter, and it'll pull up matrix A. You can have several matrices stored, and you got to tell it which one. So those are how the three will work. So go over to edit. So you go over to the edit menu. So hit over a couple times, go to the edit menu, and then just hit enter. Because that will set up the matrix world. You'll see matrix A on the screen, and it's ready for you to enter stuff. Now, you got to put in whatever the size of the matrix is. What am I talking about, the size of the matrix? Going back, the size of the matrix, size is always down and then across. It's the opposite of graphing. Remember how graphing you always go across first, then up or down. It's the opposite. So in other words, this matrix is what? 2 down, 3 across. It's 2 down, 3 across, right? There's 2 rows. It's 2 down, and it's 1, 2, 3. You count everything. X's, Y's, and answers, 3 across. 2 down, 3 across. So the matrix, so you want to have 2 by 3. You want to enter 2 by 3 matrix. So going back over to the TI screen, you want to go 2, enter, 3, enter. And it creates a 2 by 3 block. I've already got some numbers I previously put in there. But, you know, hit a 2 by 3 up there. 2 by 3. And then fill in the numbers. What numbers? Well, basically 9, -1, 77, 1, 9, 45. The original 6 numbers in the 2 questions, right? 9, -1, 77, 1, 9, 45. See where I got those? Just the number next to X, the number next to Y, and the answer on the right. Number next to X, number next to Y, answer on the right. Like that. Am I good? So enter those. Give you a second to catch up with that. Okay, how we doing? Are we happy? Are we having fun? All right, so we've got them all entered. Okay, and then you quit. Back out of that. You go second, quit. And the quit, where's the quit? It's over the mode key, right on the top. Mode at the top. Just hit second, quit, because you're like, all right, I've got that matrix in there. It's stored. It's got it. Quit out of that. It'll remember it. You can turn off the calculator now. It's got it in its battery, memory banks. All right? Now, you want to go back in, hit second. So now we come up here. Hit second matrix again. And this time, you're going to go across once to the math menu and down to the RREF. So go across to the math menu, down to the RREF. I'll show you here. So here I am after I quit, second matrix, over to the math menu in the middle, and then down. See how I'm on the math menu in the middle? I'm going down, down, down. Don't get the first REF, get the RREF. There it is. So okay, and hit enter. Boom. See, it puts REF on the screen. It's waiting for a matrix. It's saying, okay, you want me to do the RREF, the reduced row echelon form, on what? What do you want me to do it on? I got to tell it, I want you to do that on matrix A. Right? It's ready to go. It's saying, okay, I'll do the RREF thing on something for you. Basically, I'll solve a matrix for you. Which one do you want me to, what matrix do you want me to solve? So now I got to back out of that, go into the matrix mode again, and select matrix A. And tell it, do the RREF on matrix A, please. Everybody seeing what I'm doing? Go back to the laptop. And so I went down to REF, hit enter. Hit enter. It says enter. It's all messed up now. Hit enter. And then it asks you what matrix. Then go back to second matrix one last time. And then just hit enter, which selects the A. It selects matrix A. So when you hit enter, so back over to the calculator. So when you hit second matrix, and see it's already on A, it's names, I'm naming matrix A. I don't go over to the edit menu or the math menu, I stay right on names, I'm naming the matrix I want matrix A. Right, if you move the arrow down, you would name some other matrix, A, B, C, D, E, whatever. I just want A, enter. See how it calls forth back on the main screen, matrix A? You don't even need to close the parentheses. Just hit enter now. Just hit enter one more time. Boom. It does it. It puts on the screen 109014. Like that. We good? So what's our answers? 9 and 4. X is 9, Y is 4. We are done. If you're interested, by the way, in what the ones and zeros and all that stuff is, basically this first column is X, the second is Y. And there's invisible plus signs in there. So do you see what it's saying? It's saying 1x plus no y equals 9. There's equal signs here, invisible. 0x plus 1y is 4. So you see how that first equation is really saying x is 9? And the second one is saying y, because the zeros make these parts drop out. It's just 1 times x plus nothing is 9. X is 9. And nothing, no x, plus 1y, y is 4. That's what that's saying. When you see the 1001, you know the numbers on the right are your answers. 9 and 4, which we already got the by hand way. Does that make sense? Questions I can answer? You'll do this so many times you'll be able to do it in your sleep. Just in this menu back and forth, pretty soon you'll be doing it easily while you drive down the street. No, don't do that. Good? Are we good? All right, shall we try another one? Okay, let's try that one. I suggest we just do it by. So I would just put the matrix into my calculator. 4, 4, 0, negative 4, 1, 35. Right? Put that in matrix A. And hit the buttons. Tell it to do the RREF of matrix A. Yeah, the answer is going to be negative 7, 7. Let's see if you can get that. So that's x and y. So that one with fractions. Okay, so the same kind of thing. Just try entering in, matrix A will be 7 halves, 7 thirds, 35 halves, 1/4, 1/3, 7/4, right? And do the RREF of matrix A and see what you get. So you guys getting the answer 3, 3? Is that good? Questions on that? That working? All right. So I'm going to keep moving then. So let me get number 6 up here. Okay, so there's number 6. Try that one. It's going to do something weird. Put that one into your graphing calculators. 2, 3, 3, 4, 6, 6. Do the RREF. And you'll get some kind of matrix A. And I'll do it too. I'm getting 1, 1.5, 1.5. You guys getting that? Okay, so I want to explain to you what this means. Whenever you get 0, 0, that means 0x plus 0y equals 0, right? Remember there's x's. If you ever want to know what a matrix means, put the letters back in. Remember how originally we had x's in the first column, y's in the second, and answers on the right? So put it back in that form. That's all we've done is taken it away, put it back. X is down the first row column, y is down the second, and equal signs, answers on the right. Plus signs in the middle. So that bottom one means 0x plus 0y equals 0, which is 0 equals 0, which is saying nothing. Do you realize that bottom equation is saying nothing, right? Okay, so what? Well, so then what is the top saying? The top is saying 1x plus 1.5y is 1.5. What is that saying? Yeah, when you get the... Yeah, there's different answers. When you get 0, 0, 0, that means there's infinite solutions. It's answer B, infinite. When you get 0, 0, 0, one whole row that's 0, 0, 0, that means there's infinite solutions. It means there's obviously way more than one solution. There could be all kinds of things that make this true. Let me just leave it at that for now. Well, maybe I could say more. In other words, if you want to know what they are, this equation you see is a relationship between x and y. There's not just one thing that makes that true. There's a lot of things. For example, x could be 1.5 and y could be 0, and it would make that true, wouldn't it? You tracking with me? If I plug in 1.5 for x, 1 times 1.5 plus 1.5 times nothing is 1.5. X 1.5, y 0 makes it true, but that's not all. X 0, y 1 makes it true. Right? If x is 0 plus 1.5 times 1 is 1.5. And on and on and on and on and on we could go. There's infinite number of things that make it true. There's not just one answer. And there's not no answers. It's not no solution, part C. It's infinite. So how do you know when you see infinite? This is the main point I wanted to get, even if you didn't totally track all that. Get this. 0, 0, 0, infinite. Because we're going to get them in the big 3x3s, and you've got to be aware of that. When you get 0, 0, 0, that means there's infinite because that equation is doing nothing. That 0, 0, 0 one is saying nothing, really. Now, in a minute, we're going to get 0, 0 number. And that doesn't mean infinite. That means no solution. What? Think about if there was a number over here. 0x plus 0y equals 3 or something. That's impossible. How could nothing equal 3? So when you get that, that's no solution. I'll wait till we get one. Anybody already had in the homework? Know which number it comes out no solution? Anyway, well, I'll get there. Is that good? So the answer to this one is infinite solutions. So 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 means infinite solutions when you get it, etc. But let me make sure the first step is clear. Yeah, so in other words, it's another solve it. So just type in minus 225, 256,079, minus 852, 3, 47, 472. Just type it in, do RREF, put that into matrix A of matrix A, get your answers. I'm just going to go dot, dot, dot. We got to do bigger things. Is that good? So it's really just another one of the same. Just type it into the matrix, hit RREF, and away you go. And they just gave me the equations outright. Okay, so here's a real word problem. Now, number 10 and number 11 are real word problems. We need to do those, and then we'll go on to the next section. A plane flies 1,800 miles in 6 hours with a tailwind all the way. The return trip on the same route, now with a headwind, takes 9 hours, assuming both remain constant. Find the speed of the plane and the speed of the wind. Travel problems. Remember these from your algebra days? Were these your favorites? Do you have a list of favorite word problems? Sorry, I just joke around. I know. Just torturing you here. I feel like the dentist sometimes, right? You guys are paying me to do this to you, right? It's like a little Novocaine with this lecture. Would that make it go a little better? All right. So word problem. What's the equation for travel? Come on, you had algebra just last week, right? You had it a long time ago, maybe.
D equals RT.
D equals RT. Distance equals rate times time. I had a student 20-something years ago. I'm getting old now. Said, the dirt equation, Mr. Heron. It's like my second year. The dirt? You mean the dirt? Sure. Okay, great. That helps you remember it. Looks like the word dirt. So distance equals rate times time. All right. Let me put some boxes. At least the way I teach it in algebra. Put some boxes underneath these things. Basically, the whole thing is we have like a tailwind and a headwind. You know how that works, right? When the wind's blowing from behind, it helps. When you're going against the wind, it slows you down. So you have to go tailwind. In other words, it's with you, it's helping. And headwind, it's against you. Right? It's against you, slowing you down. So basically, however fast the plane goes, plus the wind when you get the tailwind, and it's the plane minus the wind when you got a headwind blowing against you. Those go in the middle rate boxes because that has to do with your rate, your speed. This all coming back like a wonderful memory from the past? Does that make sense what I'm saying first off? Plane, right? Because you know, like what if I said, hey, my plane can do 100 miles an hour and the wind is blowing at 20. I'm going to go with the wind, with it. You know, tailwind is blowing behind me, speeding me up from behind, pushing me forward. How fast am I going to go? If the plane can do 100 and the wind's going 20 and it's helping me, how fast am I going to go? 120. You would just add them. You know that, huh? I'm not telling you something you don't know. That's all I'm doing here. Plane plus wind. And when I turned, so now I came home against it, and it was a headwind blowing against my head there. How fast am I going to go? My plane can do 100, the wind's blowing 20. I'm going to do 100 minus 20. I'm going to do 80, huh? That's what I'm doing here. Plane minus wind when it's against you, when you're coming home with the headwind. Good? Make sense, right? Okay, what else do they give me? 1,800 miles. What's that? The distance, the rate, or the time? 1,800 miles. That's certainly distance, isn't it? That's the distance there and back. The distance doesn't change. It takes 9 hours. 9 hours. Is that? Oh, and the other one is 6 hours. 6 hours going when you go faster, and 9 hours coming back against the wind when you're going slower. Right? That's what it says. Good so far? Now, from there, we get our two equations. We have two letters. We need two equations. Whenever you have two letters, you always need two equations. So, where are they? Well, remember, D equals. The equal sign's right here and here. So, 1,800 equals P plus W times R box times the T box times 6. And 1,800 equals P minus W times 6. Times 9. Whoops. Times 9. For that second one. Is that making sense how I'm coming up with those? Now distribute and distribute. You get 1,800 equals 6P plus 6W. And 1,800 equals 9P minus 9W. Is that good? Now switch it around. We like to have the answers on the right for putting it in our calculator, because that's what we're going to do now. So now just stick the 1,800s on the right and get out the handy dandy graphing calculator. 6, 1,800. 9 minus 9, 1,800. That's matrix A, R, R, E, F of matrix A. And let me know what you get.
All 6 numbers? The full matrix, top and bottom rows?
No, just the right side.
250 and 50?
250 and 50, thank you. So it's 1, 0, 250, 0, 1, 150?
Just 50.
Oh, 50. 250 and 50.
Okay.
What you guys getting? Like that? So the answers are 250 and 50. You can read my writing there. These are our answers. What are they? X and Y, Joe and Tom. What were my letters? P and W. So this is P, and this is W. The plane can do 250 miles an hour. The wind's blowing at 50. They're going to ask you both questions. So over here, the plane's 250. The next question will be wind, 50. Is that good?
Are they always in that order? X on top, Y on bottom?
Whatever order you put them into the matrix, right? So when I put it in, it's I see my little matrix here. P came first and W came second. So that means P will be on the top and W be on the bottom. Now, whatever order you put them in, left and right, will be their answers, top and bottom. Josh, you got that working on the 8 and 9? Good. Good. Derek, you got it working? Excellent. All right. How about you guys? Kevin, you got it? Did you get it working? That YouTube make sense, or is it kind of weird?
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Okay, okay. Maybe I can look at it later. All right, so a bunch of these money word problems. Okay, so let's try this. So Jim Myers. Yeah, let me give you the general plan when it comes to money problems. Usually, is this true? No, it's not true on this one. All right, well, yeah. Usually, I'll just say usually, even though it's not true on this one. Well, I'm not even going to write it since it's not even true on this one. All right, let's just do the money thing. We're going to have one equation that does the money. All right, Jim Myers, $14,000, stock A and B. All right, so that means however much A and B is 14,000. Oh, yeah. Usually we have a total and then a total return. Yeah, so that is true on this one. Yeah, A plus B totals 14,000. How do I know? It says he had 14,000 to put into stock A and B. So maybe he did 10 and 4, 9 and 5. I don't know. Somehow he invested 14,000 total, A and B. Stock A is $20 a share. B is $80 a share. Yeah, stock A is $20 a share, and stock B is no, I got to put the 20 next to A, huh? And the 80 next to B. Yeah, no, never mind. I was gonna try to do something, but they're giving me a weird one right off the bat. So let me just, yeah. So that's the total money, isn't it? Does that make sense? It's kind of scribbly. You always have one equation in a money problem that has the total money. Does that make sense how I'm getting that? However many shares of stock A times $20 per share, however many shares of stock B times $80 a share totals $14,000 worth of stock in A and B. Does that make sense? A is worth $20 a share, it says. B is worth $80 a share. That totals $14,000. Okay, that's one equation. Now remember, with two letters, how many equations do I need? Two. You always got to have a match. You have two letters, you need two equations. I need one more equation. What's the other one? Well, it's this tricky stuff that's in here. Stock B triples in value. So stock B is worth what now? 80? Triple that. What's triple 80? 80 times 3, right? 240. Stock B goes up to $240 a share. Right? Stock B triples, and stock A goes up 50%. So take stock A, multiply by 0.50, 50%. That'll be $10, but it goes up by $10. So add 10, so that means $30 for A. $30 a share for stock A. Am I going too quick? Did you see what I just did there? Let me slow down for a minute. Stock B tripled. Right, stock B tripled, so I took stock B's price of $80 per share and tripled it, $240 a share. Stock A goes up 50%, so I took stock A, $20, multiplied by 50%, got $10. It's supposed to go up $10, so I added 10. Stock A went up to $30 a share. You tracking with me? Okay, if that all happens, his stock will go up to $33,000. There's my second equation. First equation, second equation. Throw them in your calculator. So 20, 80, 14,000, 30, 240, 33,000. That's matrix A. Do the RREF of matrix A. And we'll get our answers. Does that make sense? You see how I did that? If you good with all that triple and 50% increase? Give you a second to find an answer there.
300 and 100.
Is that what it is? So 300, 100, that must be how much A is worth and how much, oh, how many shares? This is how many shares he has of stock A and of stock B. 300 shares of A, 100 shares of B. Anybody else getting that RREF answer? Yeah, okay. Give you another second there. We good? Questions I can answer? All right. Am I going too quick? I'm going to move on to the next section, which is really more of the same calculator stuff. Okay. Is that on the screen? Yeah. All right, so basically the first thing they want me to do on this problem. So we're in 6.2. We're going to finish this section today as well. That'll be our last section to finish. Is they're going to want me to basically put in larger systems to the calculator. So they're going to just get me warmed up with these first few questions. Like, how would you even put it into a matrix? Well, you can tell you just peel off the numbers, huh? In other words, it's going to be 9, watch, it's -7, huh? 8 and -5. And then the second one, what's in front of this x here? 1. You tracking with me? Am I going too fast? 1, what's that? -8, don't forget the negative. -8. 3 and 9. Just wanting to make sure you're comfortable. The bottom one is what? 0. There's nothing in the bottom x. The very bottom rows x, 0, 6, -2, -9. So they just want me to type those in. That's all they're wanting in this problem. They're just wanting to make sure you can look at a big bunch of equations and peel off the letters and type in the numbers. That's all. So all I'm doing is copying down the numbers in front of the letters. Nothing fancy. We're not going to actually even do the calculator. They don't even want me to solve it. All they want is those numbers. They're just like making sure we're good with the first step. All right, that's all they want to know. 6 steps that you would do. So on this one, they're saying, all right, so what's the first equation? They mean right up here, this first equation. 5x minus 3y plus what z equals 3? It's right here. It's 5. That's all they want. Not even going to solve anything. They just want to make sure you can read the thing and type in the missing parts. They're just really practicing on the setup, which we already have done a bunch of these. They assumed we didn't use our calculator in the last section, but we did. So we're already good with the calculator. So these will be cake for you. Okay, so they're saying, what's the answer? Here's like the final matrix. They're saying, let's see it. Here's the RREF, reduced row echelon form, RREF. They're saying you basically did RREF, reduced row echelon form, and you got that. That's like your answer. They're saying, what does that mean as far as like an X, Y, Z, W answer? And this one has 4 letters, by the way. X, Y, Z, and W. Well, you know, it's just the numbers right over here, huh? It's these. These are x, y, z, and w. Those are our answers. We already know this because we used the calculator in the last section. Easy enough on that. So all they want you to type in then is 2/7, comma, -3, comma, 4, comma, 2. That is x, y, z, and w. Good? Nothing more complex than that. So now is where something new's coming. They're saying, suppose again you did R, R, E, F, and you got that as your answer. How do we turn this into X, Y, Z, W answer? Notice this time, guys and gals, take a look. The left side is more than just ones and zeros this time. There's like an 8 and a 2 over there. Something funny's going on. It's not just zeros and ones. So we've got something funny going on. In other words, so my point is, so you cannot just take the right side as your answers. You can't just go, oh, my answers are just those 4 numbers on the right side. No. No, that's only true when the left side is all zeros and ones, which is not the case here. Not the case. So what do we do then? Yeah, that's what we got to look at. What I'm going to suggest is, let's go back. Remember that the left side is remember you could put back in. Remember, it's always this whole row is x's. So this is 1x, 0x. There's just not room for me to write it all in there. This whole first column is x, the second column is y, the third column is z, and these are all w all the way down. And equals the numbers on the right side, right? So what is that first equation saying? 1x plus no y plus no z plus, oops, I already have the plus, plus 8w is 19. Isn't that what that first equation is really saying? Right? Because it's 1x plus no y plus no z. See the no y. 1x, no y, no z, plus 8w is 19. What's the second equation saying? No x, 1y, 2w is -5. What's the third equation saying? 1z is -4. And the fourth equation is saying nothing. 0, 0, 0, 0. That means, by the way, what did we already decide that means when you got zeros all the way across? It's going to be infinite solutions on this one. But they don't want me to just say infinite solutions. That's true, but they want me to say more than that. They want me to tell them the form of those infinite solutions. All right, you ready? There's just one more step and we'll have the form. So does everybody see how I wrote these equations right here from the answer matrix? Everybody see how I was doing that? Remember, the first column is x's. The second is y's. The third is z's. The fourth is w's, right? All the way down. Right? You with me? I just don't have room. But you could write x's next to each of these. And y's next to each of these. And z's next to each of these. And w's next to each of these. That's what's really there. It's just not showing all those, right? Okay. So with that in mind, then, I was able to get these equations, right? The first equation saying 1x plus 8w is 19. So what does that mean? Well, solve this for x now. How do I solve for x? 1x plus 8w is 19. How do you solve for x? Subtract the 8w. Huh. So x is 19 minus 8w. That's what they want. 19 minus 8w. What's y? 1y plus 2w is -5. How do you solve for w? Subtract 2w from both sides. Y is -5 minus 2w. How do you solve for z? Z is just straight -4. See how Z is already alone? Nothing to do there. You don't even need a 1. The 1 is nothing. 1 times Z is just Z. Don't even need to divide by it. And that's all they want. We're done there. Does that make sense? See what I did there? So we run over the details of that again. So when the matrix on the left is not just 1s down the diagonal and 0s everywhere else, then it's not, the answers are not just the right side. The only time you can say that the answers are just the numbers on the right side is if there's 1s all the way down the diagonal, we don't have the 1 in the bottom spot, and 0s everywhere else. And we don't have that here. So the answer is not just the right side. Well, what is the answer then? You got to write it out. It's 1x plus 8w is 19 from the first equation. 1y plus 2w is -5, and z is -4. And then solve for x and y in those first two equations. That's how you do it. Good there? Questions on that? Is that making sense? Anything I can answer before I go on? Because that's like the major new thing right there. Is what do you do when they come out funny? That is infinite solutions. We're going to use our calculator. All right. So take your calculators. Type in 3, -6. What is it? 7, 6, and what's the middle one? -3, 6, -7, -6, and the third one is -9, 18, -21, -18. So type that and put that into matrix A and do the RREF on matrix A and see what you get. I'm going to do it too. Let's find out what we get, and then we'll be able to interpret the answer. This is a 3x4 matrix, isn't it? 3 down, 4 across. Put in your negatives using the negative and not the subtract, of course. All right, here's what I got. 1, -2, 2.33333, and 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Did you guys get that?
After the 2.33, I also got a 2.
Yeah, don't worry about that. We good to there? We getting that? Okay, so what does that mean? Well, remember we already have said, what does the 0, 0, 0 thing mean? This is infinite. And let me give you the other word for infinite, dependent. You can put that on your 3x5 card. An infinite system is dependent. It means x's and y's and z's and w's are dependent upon each other. So this is a dependent system because it came out that way. By the way, let me mention, if you ever need to change decimals into fractions on the TI, it's really easy. Like this one, we don't need to because you just click the dependent option. But sometimes you might need to type in answers and they want fractions and your calculator's giving you decimals. What you can do is just leave on the screen the decimal thing and hit the math key and then hit enter twice. And what happens if you hit the math key in your TI, try that real quick. If you hit math, which is on the left side, on the left one, third thing down, hit math. The first, when I hit math, see what comes up on the screen? As soon as I hit the math button over here, here's the math button right here. I hit this. Look what came up on the screen. See this first option? That means change to fraction. That's why all you have to do is hit enter, and it means, oh, take the answer you just got and change to fraction. I hit enter one more time, and look, it changes that to a fraction for me.
So what does the 2 at the end mean?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that too. That's just the fourth spot. I forgot all about that. There should be a 2, 0, 0 in there. That's just, that's put in the XYZW. That's all that is. Am I confusing you? No, these are all X's. These are all Y's. These are all, oh, yeah. These are all Z's. Here, let me make more room. Right, if you remember the answer matrix, if you're ever wondering what it is, and these are equals. And what would we get over there? It was 2, 0, 0. Okay? Yeah, that's the answer matrix, just put the letters back in. That always tells you exactly what that answer matrix is. Remember the first column was X's, right? I'm not doing anything other than we start with. Down the second was Y's, then Z's, then answers, right? Just put it back in that form. You'll know exactly what it's saying. So it's saying 1x minus 2y plus 2.333z is 2.
Okay.
And the other two equations are saying nothing. Infinite. Dependent. Another two names, two synonymous phrases. Dependent system or infinite solutions. Because of the 0, 0, 0. We good there? Okay, so same thing. Put this one into your calculator. 2 minus 2, 2 minus 2. Negative 4, 4. Don't forget those negative signs. Sometimes they're not very close to the numbers. Hard to see them. Put that in for matrix A. Do RREF on matrix A. And see what you get. I'll do it too. I'll ratios. See who can beat me here. Fast, I messed it up. All right, I'm getting 1 minus 1, 1, 0. So 1 minus 1, 1, 0, is that right? Yeah, and then 0. Yeah, good, that's what I was hoping for. Yeah. I got that. Do you guys get that? Now, let me tell you what that means. Remember the first column was X's, second was Y, so put those back in. I think you'll see exactly what that is saying. First column X's, second Y's, third Z's, and then the last is the answers.
So 0 equals 1, so there's no solution.
Exactly. So everybody good so far? So I just typed the RREF into my calculator. Here's the answer I got. Now you might think this way. You might think, Mr. Aaron, you told us that when you get zeros all the way across, that's what did I say? Infinite. Well, it's not really. I'm trying to make things as simple as I can. It's not always infinite. Here's it. Really, it says nothing, right? That just says 0 equals 0. That's nothing, really, is what that says. But here's what's really important here. What does this one say? What does that say? These are added. 0 equals 1. That's not true. We actually have something not true, which is called inconsistent. That's inconsistent. 0 doesn't equal 1. So if you have a row with all zeros and then a number at the right, not 0, any number at the right, not 0, that's inconsistent. In other words, no solution. That's baloney. That's impossible. You cannot have that. That's what the calculator is telling us. This is an impossible system. This is a system that doesn't have an answer. It's an impossible system. There's no answer to this system. So that takes precedence over the no solution thing. I'm sorry, over the infinite solution thing. So basically, if you have zeros all the way across and you don't have something like this, yeah, then it's infinite solutions. But if you have all zeros and a number, that's no solution, inconsistent. Does that make sense? So let me well, hopefully I'm being clear on that. Maybe I'll write it out again more clear, but this is the main thing. Row with all zeros and then a number at the right that's not zero. That's inconsistent, no solution. Look for that first. If that's not there, then say, oh, okay, so do I have any zeros all the way across? Then it's just infinite solutions. Okay, so 14. We'll end with this one. Type it into your calculator first off. 4, -1, negative. And I'll just do it real quick and tell you the answer. But then I want to, with you, interpret that answer, because that's all we really have left to be clear on. So type that in, matrix A, do the RREF of matrix A. I'll do it right now. So 3 by 4. Oh, no, I just got a nice clean answer. That's not what I wanted to show you. All right. This one just comes out clean. This is clean. The answer just comes out. By clean, what I mean is you get all the zeros and ones. Whoops. Yeah. Come on. You get ones down the diagonal, zeros everywhere else. That just means it's clean. Negative 1950, negative 1950, negative 16. So in that case, those are your three answers. That's X, Y, Z, and you're done. Right? If it comes out just with ones down the diagonal, that's just clean, and those are your answers. All right? Let me just do this then. Let me just write out one more time. If you get something like, that is like this, what's that going to be? Well, put the letters back in there. Right? Remember, X is in the first column, Y is in the second, Z is in the third, and equals, those are answers on the right. What is this first one saying? X plus 2Z is 7. What is this one saying? Y plus 3Z is 5. So this means X is 7 minus 2Z, and Y is 5 minus 3Z. And so it's going to be, this would be a infinite, right? Because of the 0, 0, 0, it's infinite. And there's X and there's Y. So that's what you do when you get infinite, zeros all the way across, is infinite. Then you solve for X, solve for Y. Is everybody clear with how I solved for X and solved for Y there? And that's what they want you to type into these boxes. X goes right there, Y goes right there, and Z is not needed. Does that make sense? So when do you get inconsistent then? When you get inconsistent, which is no solution, is when you get all zeros and a number on the right. Right? Like 0007 or something. Because that can't be. That would mean 0x plus 0y plus 0z. Remember, the one on the right is the answer. Is 7? That means 0 is 7? No way. Right? You can't have all zeros in a number that's not 0. So that's the first part. If you ever see that, I don't care what else is there. That's inconsistent, no answer, done, next problem. Does that make sense? If you get all zeros in a number, so if your calculator gives you all zeros in a number, then that's just done. Look for that first. That's just done. No way. Inconsistent. No answers. But if you don't have that, then next, look if you have zeros all the way. Then that's infinite. Solve for X, solve for Y. And lastly, we have the clean, which is ones down the diagonal. Zeros everywhere else. Then your answers are on the right. Clean. Those are the three cases. All right, we will stop there. So these two sections are due next time.